Hello, and welcome to Grade Expectations. I'm your host, Grade. Today, we're going to talk about Ultimate Comics Spider-Man. This is one of the comics that I've been specking on in 2020. You can see it looks like this one right here, and obviously it is a Miles Morales key. So, obviously, Ultimate Fallout 4 has been doing really well lately. You can see I have one graded here. Um, Also, this is the animation variant for Miles Morales Spider-Man. It's a 1 in 10 that I also have been specking on. But I wanted to talk about Ultimate Comics Spider-Man 1 today. So this is a comic that has been on my radar for the last year. And the reason is it's Miles Morales' uh, second appearance, as well as his origin and his first comic book in a solo series. It came out in September 2011, 1 month after Ultimate Fallout 4. And really, it seems like it's been forgotten so far by collectors, although it is picking up steam. So I'll give you some numbers to compare Ultimate Fallout 4 and Ultimate Comics Spider-Man 1. Ultimate Fallout 4 had a print run of about 73,000 for the first print. On the CGC census, there are now almost 9,000 copies that have been graded. 2,600 9.8s and about 2,500 9.6s. Certainly, it's an important comic book. It's rising for a reason. We're going to see Miles in the MCU at some point, and then the sky's the limit for Ultimate Fallout 4. However, his second appearance and his origin and his first solo came out a month later and had a print run of 87,000. On the CGC census right now, there are just under 750 graded copies of this comic, about 225 9.8s, and about 225 9.6. Like Ultimate Fallout 4, it came in a poly bag. So the Ultimate Fallout poly bag is clear, whereas the Spider-Man one is an opaque white cover. And I've basically been picking these up periodically when I see them on eBay. I'm paying about, or so far I've been paying about $80 a comic, and then plus shipping to Canada. And I've purchased a total of 5 with the intent of opening them up, getting them pressed to remove the polybag seal fold on the back, and then having them graded at CGC. And I have a CGC unboxing at the end of this video with my first of the 5 Ultimate Spider-Man ones. And I'm pretty excited to open it today. So it is kind of a crapshoot with the poly bags. Now, I have here a copy of the Ultimates. And the Ultimates was also released around the same time. It also has the black cover, which is notorious for showing spine ticks. And I've opened one of this comic. It's a pretty cheap comic, and all along the spine on this comic, sorry, all along the spine, it's got spine ticks, and they're color breaking spine ticks. When I looked at the poly bag, I wouldn't say it looked like it had been beat up, but it really kind of speaks to the poly bag hiding any imperfection with the comic book. I also have purchased one X-Men, Ultimate Comics X-Men one. And this again was in the poly bag. And again, the poly bag didn't look beat up, but when I opened it up, you can see there is a huge, not even a tick, just like a crunch of the comic. And this is something where you can't see that when it's in the poly bag. You just have to pull it out and hope. Now, with the Spider-Man comic, I believe that it's a little bit more um, special that people knew that Miles Morales was coming out, and like let's face it, it's Spider-Man. You get a new Spider-Man, and people are going to take care of the comic a little bit better. Um, I'm thinking of when Superman died in the '90s, and everyone had their polybag copy, and everyone just treated it like their first child. And so my hope is that when I open these Spider-Man, Ultimate Spider-Man polybags, that the comic is going to be good inside. I can get it pressed and graded, and I can make some good money. Right now, again, I'm buying, or I have been buying them on eBay for about 80 US plus shipping, and the range for a 9.8 of Ultimate Comics Spider-Man 1 is anywhere between 500 and 900. So obviously there's a huge reward there if you get a good looking copy. So I have four of the Ultimate Comics Spider-Man books here that I've been saving up, and I'm going to open them up before I go ahead and open up my CGC copy. So let's start with the first one. I would say this was the worst looking one of the four, and so I'm going to snip it open and we'll take a look at it. I didn't buy these to flip them in the poly bag. I want to open them. I want to see what they look like. So just slide this one out. So this is my first one. You can see the front. The back has the Harley on it. And I would say this one has been abused pretty good. It definitely has spine ticks on it. I would count at least 6 or 7 spine ticks. So this one's going to be a dud for me. And I don't think that's one that I'm going to pay to get pressed and graded, which is unfortunate. But I'll still be able to sell it for some amount of money. Let's try the next one. I should mention there are a few variants for this comic. So the first variant, there's a newsstand version, which is pretty rare given that it was in 2011. There's also a 1 in 15 Sarah Pacelli version where Miles is on the cover and he's not wearing a mask. And then there is a 1 in 30 Sarah Pacelli that looks nothing like this one, and he is wearing a mask and swinging around. And those are going for pretty good money on eBay. So this is number 2. I would suggest this one is in pretty good shape. It does have 2 minor ticks, and it's kind of on the borderline, like you're looking at a 9.4 or 9.6 if I get it pressed. No home run yet. Let's try the next one. These poly bags that I purchased, I have one here from Texas. I have one here from the United Kingdom, and then I have 2 from Ontario, where I'm from. One is from Ottawa, and one is from Southern Ontario. I mix them all up, so I don't know which one is which. Let's try this third one here. I've been waiting to open these for a while, but I figured I'd wait until I got my first one back to kind of jazz up the video. All right. With these poly bags as well, really, if it is being roughed up, you should be able to see creases and things on it. So I would check the poly bag. All right. So this third one here is looking like it's in really good shape. It does have a couple minor ticks. I'm not sure if they're color breaking or not. So this one looks pretty good. I'll definitely send this one into CGC after I get it pressed. Um, with just one second. With these comics as well, I mentioned that there was a crease from the poly bag. You can't really see it, but on the back there is kind of like a bend from where they seal the poly bag up. And you definitely do not want to send one of these comics into CGC if you haven't pressed it, because you know, like they're going to notice right away that it's got the poly bag mark. Same with the Ultimate Fallout 4. So you've got to make sure that you do um, get them pressed by a good presser. All right, fourth one. Hopefully this is the charm. I was pretty lucky with my first Ultimate Spider-Man poly bag, so really anything is gravy at this point. All right, so let's take a look at this one. I was a lot more nervous the first time I opened one of these. This one doesn't want to come out. All right. So, oh man, this one should be perfect, and it's got, where am I here? Right by the staple, you can see there's some kind of mark there for some reason. Otherwise perfect, but that mark is a big deal. I don't know what they'll do with a mark like that, because otherwise this comic's spotless. Maybe it's like a printer defect or something. I don't know. So there you go. That was 4 polybagged Ultimate Comics Spider-Mans. None of them were newsstand. None of them were the 1 in 15. None were the 1 in 30. That's okay. Where am I here? So this is part of the other one that I opened. And the other one I opened, I haven't mentioned yet. It's pretty special. So when I opened my first polybagged Ultimate Comics Spider-Man 1, I opened right when I was going to send my comics to be pressed. And I've been sending, or I have sent my comics to Mr. Kendra in New York. I heard from Spec Collector that he was a very good presser. Did my background and check, and found that he was awesome. So I sent him 36 comic books. I have one. Where am I? One here today, and then I have 10 good ones and 25 moderns that are still being graded. So I'll be able to do unboxings for those as well. And Mr. Kendra was pretty awesome. He was able to submit all my comics as well for me, and he gets a pretty good discount from CGC. So it is, to me, pretty beneficial. And since I'm in Canada, I was a little worried about comics coming back over the border and getting stopped. And, you know, they're my comics, but who knows if I'm going to get charged duty or something like that. In this case, I received my comic, or this box at least, from CGC. No problems, no worries about the border, just to put the Canadians at ease. So anyway, this is part of the version that I opened with my first one. And again, I was just looking for the regular cover, press it, try and make my $500 to $900. And what happened was, when I opened the comic, I saw the cover. The cover's in pretty good shape. And then, where am I here? Another comic slid out. So I didn't really know what was going on, and it turns out to be a pretty awesome one. So I kept the cover. This is definitely reminds me of that day. So let's open this box up and see what we got. I'll try and be quick. All right. So we got the classic bubble wrap. Doesn't look like any of them are popped. I always thought this was cardboard, and it is. So let's see here. Okay. So got the receipt, and this is my new gem. So you can see here, I got a 9.8, which is amazing. And you can see there's a yellow label. So why is there a yellow label? Well, when comic was released in 2011, Stan Lee partnered with CGC and did a special signing for these polybags. So the polybags are opaque for a reason. They're hiding the really awesome comics, and this is what I opened. So out of the 87,000 comics, 100 of them are signed by Stan Lee, and you can see where am I? Right around here. It's hand numbered, 91 out of 100, and instead of the back looking like this, you get the certificate of authenticity right on the back, and it's signed by the president of CGC, certifying that Stan Lee signed the comic book in the presence of CGC. So it's a pretty special book. The odds are just under not 1 in 900 to get one, and I didn't really know what it was. I knew obviously Stan Lee's signature when it slid out, and then looking at it a little bit more without touching it, the back had looked a lot different. So when I looked this up, this comic is almost a ghost online. CGC on their website, however, still has the original press release from 2011. So if you Google Ultimate Spider-Man 1 signed Stan Lee, you're going to get the CGC article. And the article says, guess what? You get one of these comics, send it in to us, and we'll give you the yellow label. Now that website is 10 years old, or that specific article is 10 years old. I had no idea whether they were going to get me a green qualified or what they were going to do. And honestly, trying to send a comic that's already been signed to CGC with the expectation to get a yellow label is really hard to do. So I was able to email them ahead of time and get back and forth and figure out the right person to send this to. And then they had to confirm the comic was eligible before they would consider grading it and giving it the yellow label. But as you can see, I did get the yellow label, and this comic to me is a grail, and it's pretty awesome. One more thing I wanted to mention is the cover, the front cover, while it looks like this, only signed by Stan Lee, they are not the same. The first thing you'll notice is down here. Where am I here? It says Marvel, and then it says Variant Edition. And then when you look at this next to the original cover, this cover is a lot lighter. And you can actually see very clearly on Miles Morales' mask, you can see the red lines. It doesn't look dark. It actually looks awesome. And the Stan Lee signatures looks awesome as well. Now, 10 of these, the first 10, numbered 1 to 10, actually have an inscription written on them by Stan Lee, as well as his signature. And it says, with great power comes great responsibility. If you try and Google this comic, you'll see a couple of them. To be honest, The red signature looks way better than with great power comes great responsibility in pen, like scrawled across the comic. So I would suggest that this comic as a 9/8 is every bit as valuable and every bit as awesome. So on the census, as of a couple weeks ago, there were 13 of this comic graded. Two 9/8s, 4.96s, two 9.4s, and then a couple lower grade copies. So out of those 100, only 13 made their way to CGC. This is the 14th. Now I'm going to confirm that because I had to use a different CGC number. I took one of the pictures that I could find online, and to be honest, I couldn't find any of these signed by Stanley that have been CGC graded that didn't have the with great power comes great responsibility. So I couldn't look up the little code to see if it was classified as different. I don't think it is because you can see up here uh, it says signed edition, and that's the same thing as the other signed copies. So it says here signed by Stan Lee on August 18th, 2011, and numbered 91 out of 100 by CGC. Origin of Spider-Man, Miles Morales, polybag removed. So this comic definitely made my 2020, and it coming back after being pressed by Mr. Kendra perfectly to get a 9/8 is just awesome. So I'm great with great expectations. I am going to be going through more CGC unboxings periodically. I'm also going to be talking about comics that I'm specking on and, just comments on the comic industry, um, in the coming months and years. So thank you for watching. If you like this video, I'm not putting up regular videos, so subscribing will get that periodic video onto your YouTube. And thank you. Have a great day.